Stephen, is it really the case that what I'm seeing is correct, that the NPP will be holding the true state of the nation? Is it tomorrow or Monday?
Possibly yes.
There's a statement.
Yeah, possibly yes. Possibly yes.
True state of the nation.
But as you say,
those who are managing the affairs now are the ones who are telling us what the true state of the nation is. How do you tell us the true state of the nation from where you sit from outside?
Okay, thank you very much. My regards to our viewers this very morning, and I think your question is extremely legitimate. I mean, as a result of asymmetric information, one would have expected that those in the helm of affairs, whose hands are in the soup, will be able to tell us the exact state of the nation's economy. So I agree with you. But then one thing about talking about a country's economy, something, it's not just like having the discretion to talk about yourself or something else. There are figures. So sometimes you can do all the propaganda in the world, but the figures truly will expose you. So you can
that's our public debt is 721 billion cedis. Is that fact or not fact?
Let me tell you.
Is that fact?
No, I'm coming. Let me explain to you. Anybody that talks about just debt and does not talk about debt to GDP, in my opinion, respectfully, not to the president, but generally, is on the path of deceiving people.
Is it a fact or it's not a fact?
No, debt, as I'm sitting here,
yes,
debt, it has this sort of incremental propensity or whatever. So that could have been yes or no, depending on the time I was talking about.
Yes, you can do whatever you want to do with the fact. But I want, first of all,
can you please,
first principles, faithful to the facts.
But what I'm saying,
721 billion is our public debt stock.
That is
correct or false?
I'm saying, that is what he said. He's saying, I don't know which date he's quoting, but what I'm trying to say is that the best way to tell Ghanaians the truth is our debt to our GDP all over the world. Because you can have an institution whose debt is 1 billion. Okay? And you can have an institution whose debt is 4 billion. But in terms of the one that is doing well, it can only be determined by expressing that as a percentage of your GDP, the assets you have. So you cannot just quote in, unless you want to be mischievous, I mean respectfully. Now you talk precisely about our debt to GDP. Let me tell you, our debt to GDP, as of the time we're handing over, was about 74.6. In fact, it had been reduced within that shortest possible time from almost 78, 79, thereabout. So this is what we have to talk about. And in any case, there are so many, even in my opinion, more important or comparably the same importance when it comes to primary and macro indicators. Something, our GDP that we handed over, that is, I mean, in the simplest form, I want Ghanaians to understand gross domestic product. I mean, in summary, how our economy is growing. We're growing 6.3% as of November. Of course, it remains provisional, but within 1 month, it couldn't have changed remarkably to any other figure. As against 2016, that they handed over to us 3.4. In spite of all these global issues that we went through, something, debt to GDP, post-COVID of the world, was about 238%. Advanced economies were around 237. Emerging economies that I think have placed Ghana in because of being middle income status was somewhere around 191. So you situate these things in a certain context.
Yeah, but I was doing something. You see, you will have all the time to do
to explain these things.
That's fine. To do the things the way you people like to do it. But you see, I was saying, can we first be faithful to the facts? Mm-hmm. Because the president spoke about the state of the nation. Mm-hmm. Is it the state of the nation, or it is not, that we have accumulated energy sector debt of 70 billion Ghana cedis?
Energy sector debt If I tell you I have that specific figure right now, I will lie to you.
Okay, so when you don't have the contrary,
I'm coming.
When you don't have the contrary, and you are not in a position to have say,
I think it's fair that you allow me to explain to you. You ask me questions. It's not you're doing one-on-one with me.
I'm doing one-on-one with you. I've told you for now.
Program.
For now, I'm doing one-on-one with you.
So
you will have the opportunity.
So I cannot explain.
No, you see, I told you will explain. But before you explain, can we get to first principles? True state of the nation.
So I'm giving you first principle.
There is energy sector debt.
So the energy sector debt is the only thing that determines the true state of the economy.
I'm taking it one by one.
So
I started with the public sector debt.
Respectfully, it's my area. Just allow me to explain. So you ask me. Sometimes we reduce some of these things, in my opinion, not your fault, to the level that it makes so simple and people make arbitrary decisions out of it. You've asked me, allow me to explain the true state of the economy. You can't just go and pick just one parameter somewhere and deal with only the nominal figure without the assets and other things and say, is that true or not? I say,
is it difficult?
Something, are we dealing
Are you
with
unable? So hold on, Sticker.
I don't know where you want to
Sticker, hold on.
Honestly.
Hold on. Are you unable to explain after you admit that this is the debt?
No, you're not getting what.
If I put up a figure, which the president has told us is the true state of the nation today, are you unable to make an admission first before you now explain the other parameters that you want to bring in? Are you unable to do that?
Now? Can I
Please go ahead.
Samson, the main issue is about the true state of the economy.
Correct.
In any case, I don't think it's even, excuse me, respectfully, right, to pick just one parameter, okay, and say that, is this true? If you admit, you can explain. I think anywhere in the world, what are the appraisal variables that we are considering and compare and say that, oh, we left a very bad economy? I think that should be, in my opinion, the right way as a financial economist. So can you allow me to at least give a preamble, the true state of the economy, what we left, the performance indicators, then all these things will come in. Where we did well, where we did not do well, then we find the net performance. That will be more appropriate. And I'm telling you, as I'm sitting...
So you see, as I sit here...
as I'm... Can I land?
Call me the examiner so that you don't set your own questions and answer them.
You're an examiner, but you can examine an area that respectfully, in my opinion, is not your expertise.
I don't need expertise to tell you what the facts that have been churned out are. I have not, unless you have contrary facts.
Okay, I'm saying that for you to give specific figure of the energy debt, I don't have it.
You don't have it?
Yes, I don't have it.
So since you do not have the contrary facts, we will deal with what we have.
I'm saying whatever it is. But are we talking about the true state of the economy?
Exactly.
Can you allow me to explain why what our president, His Excellency President Mahama, gave was not the true state of the economy? Can you allow me to explain?
Okay.
Thank you. Samson, the true state of the economy, I don't think just energy sector component in terms of debt, nominal figure.
And Felix joins us.
Can be used to describe the state of our economy. That is totally wrong. No one, you can call any professor in the world. But if you tell me it is an important element or definitional element you are considering, I agree with you. So you pick one side. In any case, by November 2024, okay, something, our GDP growth was almost as twice as 2016 we left for this present regime. You can find out. Agriculture was growing 2.7%. You know, it's one of the mainstays of our economy. We left 4.5%. Industry was growing 4.3%. We left 8.9%. Services was growing 2.8%. We left 5%. Primary balance as a percentage of our GDP was positive against the negative they left. Reserve, we had 3 months. Even in terms of nominal figure, we're ahead of them. Inflation rate, that one, we did worse than them. They left 15.4. We left 23. Then you talk about debt to GDP. We left 74.6. They left 55.6. But even then, the NDC moved to over 70%. Then we had rebasing, or we rebased the economy. It came to 55, but they used the same to appraisal, so which means ours was worse. But something, in which context we are talking about? We had a situation in the history of this world that Ghanaians were asked to stay home, but they were paid. Public and civil servants. After a few months, they were running shift for almost 21 months. We had revenue shortfall of over 12 billion. Private sector sacked over 40,000 people, losing payees and then losing corporate taxes. And then the whole world, debt to GDP, moved to 238%.
Therefore,
I'm coming.
Therefore, what the president told us is not the true state of the nation.
I think we move beyond. No, I'm coming. All the parameters, most of them, we have done better than he handed over to us. So if you want to appraise, there should be a reference point.
Stephen, we have gone over this kind of arguments over and again for how many years? So the point is that we are discussing the true state of the economy. And I'm giving you the figures.
Wait. For economics, you deal with
the true state of the nation. What you are saying are matters we are familiar with.
But they are the matters.
Do they change the state of the nation as presented by the president? Do they change it?
No, they show that the president did not present the actual state of the economy. Because something, let me tell you, this same economy that we are talking about went so bad because of global crisis. You can take or not. You can't say solely, but largely. And the world figures and the world's economic performance indicate and exonerate our government. This is a fact. You can say whatever it is. I've given you the figures from IMF. You can check.
Can you point to, we're having a discussion.
I know, but at least when I make a point.
It's not a monologue. Hold on.
Something.
Hold on.
When I make a point, then you can come.
Steve, hold on.
I'll lose my thought.
This is how we do it. Hold on. Can you point to a figure put out by the president against any sector which was wrong?
A figure?
Yeah.
The president put up. Something.
He said, Esla, there was the collection of over
so how could you
40.
So how could you say that was
45 billion?
What were you using Esla for? Look at some of the obligations we had to use Esla to perform in terms of even performing our debt obligations. What happened 2023 August? We were able to perform that obligation in terms of paying our bondholders. February 2024, August 2024. At least we had not misused. The fact that you have a fund, that you think the money in it is not enough, does not mean that we had misused the money. But what the president is saying, there are figures that are far better than he handed over. Right now, if you leave this place and we hand this place over to another manager, what happens? We take stock. You left two things. The time the second manager is leaving, are they one? Is it one or three? And we are saying that all the performance indicators, most of them, exonerate us and indicate that the economy that we left for them is far, much more stable and restored. I'm not saying there are no challenges. And I've given you, and even the underlying causes, the context we are talking about, means this government. We've done so much. You
heard my question. My question was, if what the president presented is not the true state of the nation, you see, I've been sitting here for over a decade on this show. I'm used to this hackneyed, repeated way of doing these things. That a president presents the state of the nation. Then the opposition say, we are coming to present the true state of the nation. What I want you and I to do differently is, can you point to one figure, one statement, can move from figure, that he made that does not reflect the current state of the economy? The sinking fund, which is called the reserve fund. He says at the time he left office, we had in the dollar account as much as 250 million. What is left in that fund today is $64,000.
Were we supposed to use the fund when the need arises or not? Something. You're also not getting me right. Listen, you called me, allow me to also speak. Why didn't the president talk about the GDP we left? the primary balance that we left. Why did the president talk about agriculture that we left?
You're not answering my question.
Why? No, because you're also not asking the right question.
If you decide that you will not answer my question,
because the question you are asking in the context of economics is not right. You've asked me, even talking about debt, okay, it is always a continuous process. Even the time he's quoting might not have been the time we are talking about. And I've said that what he quoted as of that time, I didn't have the figure exactly. What you need to find out is that what constitutes a state or the state of economy or an economy. Where are the performance indicators, relevant ones? Because I'm talking about the GDP. I'm talking about agriculture. I'm talking about industry. I'm talking about services. I'm talking about primary balance. I'm talking about reserve. These are key.
All these things.
These are key.
What did the president speak about or give a figure about? That is not the current state of the economy. But did the president give figures?
That's my question. No, the president did not give figures, in my opinion, unless because sometimes you move out. Figures that were showing that the economy we left generally is better than what they also handed over to us. So something, if you can allow me to explain, I'm also saying that Phyllis is here. He can challenge and they will all go and do fact-finding. Whether the GDP we left for NDC government is not higher than 2016, what they left for us. Whether agriculture, whether industry, whether services, whether primary balance, which shows the fiscal strength of your economy when it's positive. That's what we left for them. So some of the parameters...
This economy that has been rated junk. You are telling Ghanaians here.
By who?
This economy, you've forgotten what this economy has gone through.
You are talking about 2022. You are not talking about 2024. And 2022...
This economy that is paying DDEP and it is saddled with it until 2020 what?
Can I explain this thing to you? DDEP is unfortunate. And I side with those who went through that unfortunate period. I mean the holders. But let me tell you, bring any professor in the world to debunk what I'm saying. When there's a holdout in this situation, okay, the only way out is to restructure the debt, deal with the extension of the maturity date and the payment terms so you can make time to pay. But it is very unpalatable to the victims or the bondholders all over the world. It's not only Ghana it has happened. Okay. The problem with our country is that, for instance, you're a lawyer, a great lawyer. When you're talking about something about law, I should be able to allow you. I'm not saying it doesn't mean I can't ask questions. But when somebody understands something and is explaining, and we don't want to accept the reality of it, it's like a doctor diagnosing.
I'm not going to buy law books. I'm going to buy kinky at the same place that you go and buy the kinky, and I know what is happening to it. I go to change money. I need to travel. I need dollars. I know what the circumstance is. So that cannot be that because I am not an economist or a finance person, I can't appreciate the circumstance.
You move to another area. You can, but let me explain to you. If you had a global crisis, your inflation rate went to 54.1, and it's been able to be reduced to 23%. Something. Can you also use the global performances of these indicators as reference point and see whether Ghana is doing well or not? And I'm also saying that what was handed over to us, most of the primary macro indicators, then one would have also said that now doing so is back. One would have said that public service workers and then civil service workers, even including health and education, essential services workers, are being sacked. So you are talking about the economy today we are talking about. The only way you can accept what the president said, or NDC, those in government...
Health and education, nobody is being sacked.
No, I have a letter, unless it's fake.
No, I think they've confirmed to us nobody is being sacked.
But I have a letter that I'll show to you.
Okay.
That my constituent is at home now. Unless they are lying to me, I'll give the letter to you, then you find out. But whatever it is, you made a good point advising both NPP and DC on such unfortunate behaviors. I was a CEO, at least Adam, my younger brother, NDC MP, can call and attest to the fact that when I was sent there, the same he came to me that he knew they were going to be sacked, so he was going. I said, no, stay, unless you want to go anytime free. Some people abuse. It doesn't mean even President Mahama is interested in what is happening. And that's why it's good you called on him. But when it comes to the economy, the figures are here. Now, if you want to translate that into practicality, anytime NDC guys and NPP guys are in power, and they are touting themselves of economic macro indicators, especially when they are doing well, they say in our pocket. When they are not doing well, it's an issue. But let me explain to you technically today. Our market is basically SMEs, about 90%. Then we call something defensive market economy, which means that when even the economic indicators are doing well, it takes a long time for people to feel that lag time, unlike the aggressive sectors. So the people are not wrong complaining, but the system we have here is also not wrong because it takes a long time. So these things are there.
Okay.
But what we can say this morning is that in terms of all the parameters that we can use to judge whether economy is doing well or not, how many of them? The president should have then mentioned GDP. Why didn't he mention? The president should have mentioned agriculture, industry, services, primary balance, reserve that we had, even nominal value.
Okay.
The president only mentioned inflation, which we are about 23, and then left 15.4. Why was he doing that? So you couldn't have pick just an area, an agency, and say that the entire economy is bad.
Thank you.
That is not true.
Now, you know,
that is not true.
Take a